What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're here to talk Superman. Before we get into that, thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly Karen. Go get some merch. I'll link down in the description. Help us, like, subscribe, share, comment. Please leave a comment. Talk to us about Superman. So, real quickly, we're going to both give a very quick, fast, non-spoiler review, and then we're going to spoil the heck out of it. So, we'll clip that out from the big show, but we're going to leave it in the big show. So, Kyle, super fast, the Superman fan himself. What did you think of James Gunn's Superman?
Overall, I was satisfied with what James Gunn delivered on with Superman. I thought it played to the strengths of the character, both for audiences all around, but also just for my own palette when it comes to the character, a character that I care about. I felt like this movie understood like what Superman stands for in terms of bringing compassion to the character and to like the love that Superman has for all people, but also just playing up the aspects of just fighting for what's right and just thinking about everyone in terms of safety and just caring about their well-being while trying to have like all of the weight of the world on his shoulders, both in his personal life and as well as just on a worldwide scale. So I like this along with like the modern aspects of life where there is a mixture of cynicism and a mixture of worldwide politics that could play into a character that's powerful. And I think it does well into dwelling onto those elements, plus on, the comic book aspects of like almost leaning into like a campy style of the character as well as comics in general. I thought David Cornsweet did a very great portrayal of Superman as well as a great portrayal of Clark Kent. And the rest of the surrounding cast is pretty good for the most part, especially our own Mrs. Maisel, who plays Lois Lane in this movie. Rachel Brosnahan. She and David Cornsweet are a great duo between one another. Great chemistry. But there's also great chemistry with the actors who play Ma Pa Kent, as well as with Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, who... I'll talk about this in spoilers. He almost sticks the landing for me on like my vision, my personal vision for Lex Luthor. But I think for the most part, he gets the character down very well, and the character is well written to where you understand what makes him tick and what makes him be so angry towards Superman as like a symbol. So yeah, I think that along with James Gunn's direction, he has a great visual flair with this movie. I think some of the scenes, like especially the more emotional with like very human raw emotions, like he really nails in this movie, as well as the action sequences I thought were very good, maybe a little bit over the top. Some of it you kind of recognize from like his Guardians movies, so maybe that's like more of a taste thing for people, but for me, I think it really hits the mark in making it an exciting movie when it comes to like the action sequences as well. Yeah, so I've rattled off long enough. I'll let you talk some. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I was blown away with how much I ended up liking it. I thought the themes he touched on were incredible. I thought David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan brought incredible chemistry. He really felt Superman to me. I love this take on Superman. I love this idea that they've decided to like hit this direction they're choosing to go in with Superman. I loved it. I thought it was perfect. The movie, like leading into it and leaving, it is the first time in a long time, probably since Endgame, that I had so much true excitement about going into a superhero movie and left really wanting more. Like, I want to see what, like, Superman 2 or a Justice League. I just kept thinking these are the things I want to see.
Yeah.
And I missed those days, and we need DC to do this because it's going to force Marvel to step their game up since they've been mediocre. I mean, one of the few good things they've done since Endgame has been James Gunn's Guardians 3, but I loved it. I was blown away by the chemistry. I loved everything about it. I mean, Nicholas Hoult delivered wildly to me. I loved the actor that plays Jimmy Olsen, whose name is escaping me.
Skylar something.
Yeah,
but Skylar's really good in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was really, really good. I mean, all the supporting cast was really, really, really good. I was blown
Yeah.
away at this moment. I truly do not have any negatives to talk about, but I guess maybe we'll discover them as we talk in the spoiler. Do you have any quick
Mhm.
negatives to end this non-spoiler review?
Yeah, as much
Oh,
as I
here we
like
go.
James's direction when it comes to like the emotions, the emotional beats of the story and the action, I do think I did feel myself get a twinge of feeling like I've seen his style a bit too much now, especially when it comes to
Oh,
elements of like the comedy, elements of like some of his stylings as well. Like they just come and go. They're not terrible, but at the same time, like as for myself who has seen enough of his work, I'm kind of ready to see more of like what else he can do besides those elements. Music as well. I think the score is very good, but when it
oh,
comes to like
so good.
song choices, I feel like song choices like they work well with the themes in the moments, but they don't feel cohesive with how the rest of the movie feels. And I do think plot wise, like they do good work, but I felt like there's just extra nuggets that would have really like nailed home some of the core themes that they were trying to do throughout this movie that I felt like were left hanging more than they really should have been. I felt like they should have been driven home a bit better. I think we can probably get into that stuff in like our more spoiler aspect of the review. But needless to say, though, I think what I was really hoping for was one, the movie to be good, but two, for them to deliver on what Superman, no matter what type of depiction you like of Superman, like what really is like the true core elements of this character and why he's treasured as much as he is. And I think in a world where we're just full of cynicism and we kind of just lose our way of like finding the good in people and just like finding role models or like nonfiction or fictional elements of like what good-hearted people or what like a good-hearted values like stand for. I feel like this is a movie that really nails home of like how the character it can be shown in that way. So I'm just appreciative of the movie working for me, and I'm appreciative of this depiction of the character nailing how I personally feel about Superman. So yeah,
All
I just
right.
hope other people like it as well.
So thanks for watching if you are watching the clip out, but now we're just going to transition. It's all spoilers from here on out of the movie. Spoil, 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 spoil away.
Yeah,
Um, I got I got two things I'm going to lead in here. First of
let's
all,
do it.
seeing the Demon Slayer trailer at the beginning, we love to see that. The
You
Odyssey
too, huh?
trailer hit. I love it. Are you kidding me? I was hyped. Let's make anime bigger. That trailer was one of the best that they showed in front. Anyway, to
Mhm.
Superman, you definitely get James Gunn's style. Every time you
Yeah.
see a James Gunn movie, you're going to get close ups of the face a lot, especially if
Mhm.
they're flying around. That happens in pretty much every movie he's made.
Yeah.
You're going to get a older, forgotten, kind of fun, poppy song to a fighting montage. Happens in all of his
Yeah.
movies. Kind of expected those to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to get bright, colorful things, and you're going to get a lot of humor. That's what
Yeah.
James Gunn brings. That is a James
Mhm.
Gunn script. It is what all three Guardians and the Suicide Squad all have. They all have it.
Yep.
You can pick and you can say that's that scene in that one and that one and that one. And I don't disagree with you. I I kind of want him to break away from a couple of those shticks. Some of
Yeah.
the shot choices, those don't bother me because he does do a lot of face close up, especially when they're flying around and the zoom eye kind of fish eye
The fish
shots.
lens.
That
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. I am
Sure.
kind of like, all right, James, we've seen it 5 times now of a hero dancing to some older song, kicking butt. I'm kind of
Mhm.
ready to maybe see it kind of a little different, and let's
Yeah.
not maybe do it that way. But at the same time, most superhero movies have those. It's just probably more to the score than the song. But
And I don't.
overall, go ahead, chime
Well, I
in.
was just gonna add on. I don't know about your screen, but at my screening, most of the time it hits. Like clearly, it's a formula that
Oh
works. So
no, no,
like,
yeah, they love it.
I think I'm in the minority, but as someone who like pays attention to this stuff and notices those trends, and especially like moving away from Marvel to DC or just like doing or just being like in a different anything business wise in general, like within this industry, I just would have been okay if some of that was moved off of. I would have been okay if he tried something different.
Not in my DC, James Gunn.
No fun in
This
my
movie,
DC.
this movie is kind of a critique on him, which is really interesting because it's
Ooh.
Clark gets the, you know, and I know it's it's in one of the comics or maybe the comic you held up specifically, but this whole Lex smear campaign that is it in that one where this is coming from, the story beat idea of of Jor-El and his wife not having great intentions when they send him to Earth, and then it ends up being a thing. I've heard that's a comic line.
It has been a comic line, but not an all-star Superman. I think
Gotcha.
with him, he probably pulled the more sci-fi, not camp, but the sci-fi over-the-topness,
And more maybe of the actual
aspects.
Superman.
Yeah,
Like
and
that
Superman as
style
well.
of that Superman.
Yeah, you got
But
it.
like that, but like it's a Superman that like everybody loves. Bad stuff comes out. He has to get redeemed. That happened to James Gunn. Everybody loves. Old tweets, gets fired, gets rehired.
Mhm.
You know,
That's a
now
very
on
good point.
a champion tour here. But
No, good
yeah,
point.
let's stick with him as Superman. I loved everything he brought, man. He was such a great Superman. I liked the idea. I know James Gunn talked a lot about a more vulnerable Superman, a little bit of a weaker Superman. I loved jumping right into the movie at, we're just going to
Mhm.
quickly tell you, metahumans have been around for 30 something years, where, you know, or how was it, centuries or decades? I thought they said 3 decades. Was it decades?
Yeah, so like that opening crawl was like for 3 centuries there's been metahumans. For three
That's
decades,
what it was.
Superman came to Earth. Three
Yeah.
years ago, he admitted that he's an alien and he's Superman. And then 3 days ago, he like
He
gets
lost his
beat.
first
Or
battle.
3 minutes ago, he lost his first battle. Yeah,
Yeah. I
which
love
was
opening with that. I loved opening with that.
I liked parts of it. I liked parts of it. I
You
think
wanted to see the old origin story, huh?
no, I was fine without the origin story. I think that we've seen enough times, and it's Superman. People know what it is. I think I was just surprised that it started off that way. I wasn't expecting like a crawl to happen, but I also wasn't a fan of the introduction of like the metahuman angle, and it is like a part of the story throughout. Only because I feel like in a world that's like being inspired by comic books, you don't need to like put a label on people with superpowers, and it also feels like a bit too like X-Men in my opinion, which I like X-Men, but I don't.
I think it makes
I'm not a
sense for the
fan of
context.
X-Men.
I think it makes sense in this movie though, for like you can't, like they dealt with so many political things in this. Like he basically
Yeah.
told the, you know, what's going on with Israel right now and everything
Mm-hmm.
in this movie. And like I feel like if you don't have that, it's just, what, you're gonna just call them something else. You're just gonna call them all aliens, or I mean,
Yeah,
then
I
is
don't know.
Hawk
I
Girl
mean,
an alien, or because Guy Gardner's from Earth? Like,
no, like I get where you're coming from with that. I don't know. For some reason, like I've just have seen that done in like some other superhero media that's not like X-Men related, and it never really sticks the landing for me. So maybe it's just like a bias that I have, but I don't know. Like I just, for me, I'm okay with like not needing an explanation for people having powers. Like half of the powers come from chemicals or a lightning bolt or just being from outer space. Like I don't need like
fair enough, but you got
a
to give it to the
description
common
for it.
folk, Kyle. Yeah, the common folk don't
That's
know what's going on.
probably what it is. But like that's when I saw that metahuman label pop up, immediately I was like, oh geez, well, all right, hopefully the story still does well. And it does. Like you're right about the political aspects. Like it does help with what they're going for in this story. But it's just a personal thing of mine, clearly.
Our theater clapped heavily when
Mm.
Clark and Lois kiss at the end and they've saved the day. And then
Oh,
they
all right.
clapped again after the movie ended. There was a decent
Oh, good.
little clap fest because, you
Yeah.
know, James Gunn must have been there. They can hear him. But I was hyped.
Could be a Philly guy.
Also, we have sat in the wrong seats, too close to those gigantic
Yeah.
speakers twice now. We did it in Furiosa, we did it in Superman, and I was like, oh my
Oof.
God. But now I'm debating this week going in the middle of the day into the city because they have one of those 4XD where the chairs move and stuff. And I think I'm
Oh.
going to go see Superman. I'm going to go fly around with him, Kyle.
Let
I'm
me
gonna
know how
fly
it
around with
goes. I don't
Superman.
think that's for me, but you tell
I've
me
never
how
been
it
to one.
goes.
I was like, maybe if I'm going to go see the movie again, maybe I'll try a new theater experience.
Yeah, why not do it with a good movie too, or a movie you like, you like.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
anyway, so yeah, he was great as Superman. I loved him
agreed.
getting kind of his butt whooped. I
Hmm.
loved every time he talks, from the argument at the beginning with Lois that they had
Such a good
shown
scene.
to all the way to, he constantly is repeating it to other characters, to when he talks to Pa Kent, and then later to Lex on a great speech to Lex about being human. And he's like, look, I care about these people. And I feel like this is the first time we saw in a superhero movie, at least that I can vaguely remember, where it felt like his actual true priority was making sure everybody around him was protected over
Yeah,
beating the monster. It wasn't, I got
yeah.
to beat the monster. Oh, someone's in the way. I got to get him out of the way. It felt like it was, I'm going to save these people. And I can't even think of any of the Marvel movies or any of the old Fox movies that made me feel like the hero was actively focused more on the people than the monster. And I loved it. I loved him being like, what if we can have a more humane way to save this creature? Like, I
I
loved all that.
think
Go ahead, chime in.
well, I don't mean to be kicking Man of Steel while it's down. I'm not going to try to
Henry
do that
Cavill
in
was a
this
great
review.
Superman too, but
But I do think it became a consequence of Man of Steel where they showed like a city full of people being eviscerated. And you see like with the rest of the movies post that of like making sure like if cities evacuate or making sure that there's no bystanders in wherever place that they're fighting. When instead that's the wrong lesson to take away. Like it's impossible to evacuate people like that quickly or do something to like give people safety when there's just so much danger happening in this sort of outlandish way. So why not lean into your characters being like, no, I care about saving people. I'm going to fight the monster, but obviously I'm going to save the
I
squirrel.
loved it. I love that
Like,
though. I
you know,
loved that Superman was like that. That he was
yeah,
so,
me too.
especially when we are now. You had Man of Steel, a darker version of Superman, and then you get a
Mhm.
Homelander in The Boys, which is obviously a very different stylist show. But that's the point. It's a commentary on Superman and how he would actually
Yeah,
be, is what a lot of people say with these
yeah.
powers. And I love that this little guy in Kansas is just like, no, I'm going to save everybody. Although, look, if you're growing up in Kansas and Ma and Pa Kent have that deep Southern accent, you're telling me Superman comes out of that without the accent just because he's an alien? I don't think that's how dialect works, pal. He should have been
Maybe
like, all right, I'm here to save you.
maybe give him a little more twang. Although he did move from Kansas to Delaware, so he
Hey,
maybe he finally
Delaware.
grew out of it.
Delaware about an hour away from me right now, pal. You
Yeah.
talking bad about Delaware?
You can
As you
you can
should.
go visit the
Um,
Daily Planet right now. I was so happy to see Corn Sweat stick the landing for Superman. He's an
oh,
actor that I've only seen like in very small
Twisters. All
doses.
right.
Twisters,
Pearl.
Pearl, thank you for reminding me. And it was fine, but he just doesn't stick out to me in those movies. I mean, that's not
He's
the role
funny in
for him,
Twisters.
but when you have the lead role of Superman, you hope to see like the actor had some sort of pop initially. But I'm glad to see that he really sticks the landing, and he seems to, at least by performance wise, he seems to understand like what Gunn and what other people have done with like stories of Superman before. I think he
Yeah.
does like the Clark Kent impersonation well. He does like his Superman role of it well, but you also see like what makes him feel like he's a human or why he understands people of Earth so well.
I think by the time you get to his speech at the end, where he says, "No, I am a human. This is what it means to
Mm-hmm.
be human." Again, spoilers
Mm-hmm.
if you're watching right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but when he gets to that speech, I think James Gunn did such a good job of making us feel that. So when he speaks it, and we've seen everything he's been through up until this point in this movie, saving the baby, the conversation with Pa Kent, how he wants to just save everybody, the little girl when the
Yeah.
monsters attack, like everything. And when he gets to that point, you're like, no, he is. You're like on Superman's side. I mean, he's an
Mm-hmm.
alien, but you're like, no, Lex, he is a human. Like, he's speaking facts here. That was
Yeah.
one of 3 points. I'm getting soft in my old age. That was one of 3 points. I started getting a little teary eyed, a little choked up. I had 3 moments, and that was one of them when he was talking
No,
that human speech. It's such a good speech.
my one of my favorite scenes easily is him at home on Kansas. Like
Oh,
I should look up the actors' names. Alex, if you could do that for me, that'd be awesome. Looking up
absolutely.
who played
Just
Ma
look.
and Pa Kent. Jeez, that could have wrecked me. Like, not only are their portrayals just so wholesome, but also just really stick the landing on them just being good-hearted people. Just being happy for like the life that they have and being able to be landed literally a son as great as Clark is. But
Neva
also
Howell
just
and Pruitt Taylor Vince. If I'm butchering
yeah,
their names, I apologize. Played Ma and Pa Kent, and man,
they,
continue,
yeah,
please.
yeah. No, they just make their moments count. They feel real, and they just feel so earnest, and especially when it comes to like Pa Kent's pep talk to Superman. Um, yeah, it just felt good to see that in live action.
Frank Grillo was playing Rick
Yeah,
Flag
this
Senior.
yeah in
I just
that
see that here.
in the government scenes or like the
Yeah, no, I know who he was. I just thought he was a government guy. I didn't realize he's Rick
oh
Flag Senior from.
I think he voices that character in
Oh
whatever
wow.
creature show that
So
was.
that
Yeah.
was the other scene that got me really choked up. It was the Clark saying I'm a human, Superman saying that, and then the Clark and Pa Kent scene
Hmm.
really got me. Uh,
Can I talk about the scene that you're talking about with Lex Luthor as well in the climax?
yeah, go for it.
They're like them coming face to face at the end. That scene was so good because it shows Superman. It shows Clark doing the thing that makes him human is that he gets annoyed by stuff just like anyone else does. Just because he has powers doesn't mean stuff doesn't
Yeah,
bother him or stuff doesn't rattle him. And on the same side, it shows Luthor with his whole thing being like him taking the portrayal or like the symbolism of Superman wrong just because he's a guy with this amount of power. He thinks he's using it wrong, or he thinks like that just automatically makes him like the best thing there ever was. When really Superman doesn't feel that way about himself at all, and he's trying to explain that to Lex in this scene, and it's just like this really great clashing of heads between these two characters. But unfortunately, the James Gunn thing comes to an effect where Crypto suddenly lashes at Lex Luthor and starts beating him up for a laugh. And granted, in the
I
theater,
kind of
it
liked
worked.
it. I kind of
It
liked it.
worked, but for how great of like the last word Superman was giving towards Lex, and for just driving home the point of the movie, I wish James Gunn would have moved away from like his usual tendencies, so that way that emotional beat could have been driven home. You already sold us on the humor by that point. I would have liked to see just the point of like the message being really driven and getting like him being able to get his last word in, but I don't know. I'm in the minority of that clearly because it definitely worked for everyone else. It seems like, but
I
that
didn't
was just the
love
one
it
thing I
because
wanted to
of the
mention about it.
laugh. I didn't love it because of the laugh. I loved it because it was the first real time we saw Crypto the super dog defend his boy. Like the
That's a
whole
good point.
movie, he's saying,
Yeah.
"Crypto, do this for me, Crypto," because he's not his
Hmm.
dog, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Do this for me, help me, do this thing for me." And that was the first time Crypto was like, "All right, pal, back off. I'm done with all these people around here. I'm gonna take you down." Like it was the first
I,
time he didn't act like a dog as a loose cannon. It was the first
mhm.
time in the movie he was the dog that protects you when someone's breaking into your house. Like that's why I liked that moment so much because that it hit for me like
Mhm.
that. Not as necessarily. I mean, it was funny, but not
Yeah.
like not the laugh first.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah, I actually liked that you brought that up. I don't necessarily agree, but I get where you're coming from. It was an angle that I just didn't think about. For me, that came from when uh, Crypto was chewing up all of Lex's cameras flowing around as he was battling Ultraman as the rift was happening. That's my moment for Crypto defending his owner, quote unquote. But I get what you're saying though.
No,
Like
I'm
that
with you
probably
there
was the
too.
point of
But
the
he
scene.
he
Yeah.
tells him to do that. He's like crypto toy or whatever he said, and then he goes after. I
Go
just
fetch
liked it
or
was
yeah.
like I don't know. I agree. I just
Yeah.
like crypto. Do
Yeah.
you Millie Alcock popping in as Supergirl as a little tease there? What'd you
Mm.
think of that, Kyle? Come on.
I thought it was an odd place to put it. I wouldn't have minded if it was like the after credits scene. Um, and I just don't have enough to go off of. How do I start this? I know what they're doing with that angle because I have the book that the movie's going to be based on, like on my shelf. I've read it, so I know like what the angle is for like portraying Supergirl that's coming up. I don't know if it's really works as like an introduction for like the rest of the audiences who probably don't know about Supergirl in the way that they're going to show her. And I also think where they put it as like what that's like the final scene of the movie instead of making it like an after credit scene, maybe that probably could have worked a bit better. Um, but otherwise, she seemed fine. Like it was a surprise. I didn't know what was going to happen. But outside of that, I just don't really have much else to gauge off of.
I have two things on it, and
Sure.
one I want you to. I want you. So I do think it would have worked as an after credit scene, but I think James Gunn deliberately put it earlier and made two funny after credit scenes or goofy ones that are not setups because he wanted to poke fun at. They're not maybe necessarily going to do that. Maybe they are, but I think he was just like, you know what? We're going to make all these people that have been built up over 2 decades of Marvel's going to do this, and we're actually not going to do it. That's just my guess. The second one, you tell me, this is the vibe I get of what this Supergirl movie will be, because I don't know really anything about the character, and I haven't read the comics. I know like of the character, and like I've seen her in the old school. Nice.
This is the one you'll want to read in case if anyone is curious. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
But here's my guess. Here's my guess.
Yeah.
Because he says that she's been going to planets with red stars because then she's not as powerful or whatever, and she can get drunk because on Earth with the sun she can't get drunk. And I was like, my guess is the Supergirl movie, because that's the next movie coming out, is gonna be her becoming a Supergirl, because like her fighting this, I'm partying, I want to hang out, I don't want to do the hero thing, and then she gets the basic call to action, I gotta be a defender, I can't keep messing around. Is that what happens in the comic? Am I on the right track? Am I sniffing the right area here?
Partially, yeah. She is running away from the trauma that she experienced of her world dying, essentially.
I don't know about her backstory. I just know he got a cousin one day, and it was like everybody died, but cousin Soups over there.
Yeah. No, that part you got right.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it is going to be that kind of story of her like learning to step up and use her power for good. But it is like a story that's going to be about her facing what she had to deal with her world ending. And it's more of like a sci-fi adventure than being like an Earth-based adventure.
Gotcha. I like that. Yeah. And Crypto will be there. I'm big fan of Crypto.
Crypto's a big part of the story too. Yeah.
When he walks into that office and he's like, "Where's the dog, loser?" I was like, John Wick, Lex, right now. Take him. He took your dog. Take him out of here. Are you kidding me? I was seriously, I was all for it. Tell me something else. Favorite part of the movies here. Come on. Tell me something. Give me something here. What do you want to talk about next? Come on.
I want to talk more about Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, because one of my favorite scenes was the interview scene. I think it showed their relationship growing, but also not being perfect at the same time. Because again, with Superman, yes, he's an all-powerful being with powers, but at the end of the day, he still has issues. Like, he still has to make sure, like, you know, his girlfriend is doing okay. Like, he has to make sure, like, they get along and they're gonna have their fights and their moments.
Yeah.
So that combined with Lois Lane showing off her journalism degree, but also her and him just arguing about, like, the semantics of, like, how to answer for an interview or how to answer for actions that you're doing towards the world, like, such as with what he was doing in the face of the Bosnia or Bolivia, whatever the country's name is, and that crisis that's going on. It is doing like a bit of world building of itself, as well as being tied into the plot of the story. So it was doing a lot of things, like doing character work, but also doing good setup for the conflicts. And on top of that, it shows like how Superman is relatable because of him not knowing how to do the right thing and having to face a world that is trying to ask him to do the right thing, which he is, but at the same time, there's all of this legality type stuff, or there's all of this conflict that he wants to be able to push through, but almost can't in a way. Like
I think
there's interesting stuff that happens in the first half of the movie, and that scene is like a big part of the reason why.
no, I agree with you, and I think what makes that scene so impactful, I mean, beside the fact that the two had great chemistry off the bat, like
Yeah,
you could tell why when they probably screen tested together, it was like, oh yeah, this is game over. These two are so good, but
sure.
like
Yeah.
I feel like when you look at, to continue, I guess, to kick it while it's down, and I like it more than Kyle, but like when you're looking at the things everybody loved about Man of Steel and how like dark and
Mm-hmm.
gritty DC was compared to
Mm-hmm.
Marvel, even though Marvel deals with really serious stuff a lot of the time, they, but I think when you get a scene like that, that argument is literally the argument of like I want a dark and gritty superhero movie. Well, that doesn't make sense. Superheroes are light and fun and save people. That is what that argument in the context of the movie ends up being, because it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving people. That's the end of the day thing here. And Lois is like, no, it's not. There's a darker, bigger world that has consequences and results in this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it doesn't matter. People were going to die. And I think that
Yeah.
scene is just so powerful. And I love that it's so early in the movie, because I think it
Yeah.
sets up how serious at times the movie can get. And hey, James' style, for I think both of us, I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
also not the biggest fan of Guardians 2 because I think his style took over too much. I think that at the end of the day, though, one of the things he really does well is he has a lot of underlining themes that are darker and heavier that he doesn't. And in my opinion, Guardians 2 is the only one that does the opposite of this. Other than Guardians 2, I think he's able to keep the humor from taking away from those moments. Guardians 2 is the
Mm.
only one I think the humor makes those moments not as impactful, makes it a joke overall. And I don't think he does that here. I think when the humor is on, it works and complements then those serious moments, if that makes sense. It's not that the
Sure.
joke overrid how serious it was. It was the joke might have been, something more along with it, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that scene for those reasons, because I think it's just that scene reminds me of one of the best scenes in all of Marvel, which I love, is when Civil War, when they're talking about the Sokovia Accords, because it's that type of conversation. I like that in my superhero
Oh
movies,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
James did such a good job here with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
what else do you
meant
want to talk about?
Well, I mentioned in the that it works really well in the first half of the movie, but I think the second half of the movie, I felt that it was kind of missing the mark in terms of delivering on like bringing a punch to some of those conflicts I was describing earlier, such as like the stuff involving like the two countries or the one country having like a civil war with itself, thanks to Lex Luthor pulling the strings
An
behind the scenes.
invasion, not a civil
An
war. It
invasion,
was
yeah,
another country
yes.
just coming in and wanting to kill everybody.
Yeah, no, that's a great correction, Alex. Thank you for that. I just didn't feel like that part of the story delivered on a satisfying ending for it. It felt like the second half, for the emotional human elements of its characters, I thought that stuff was great and delivered well, but I think like story wise, for like the extra feelings such as like the stuff involving the country, I felt like it was just missing like one final thing, one final nugget to really like drive it home and delivering a satisfying ending for that narrative. That I was hoping like Superman would play more of a role instead of like the Justice Gang, for example. And even like the Justice Gang playing a role within that part in the second half, it still doesn't really show much of it. Like I wish like we could have, if you're gonna have these characters, these other side superheroes be a part of this story, I would have liked them to like have a satisfying climax as well, on top of like that angle of what the story is doing. So I feel like the second half of the movie does struggle with some of those multiple story elements to like really tie it home and like really seal it with like a heck of an ending. But otherwise, I think in the second half of the movie, like it really delivers on the emotional and like personal stuff of the characters. I hope that kind of made sense. I felt like a word
It did.
salad
I
to
just
me, but
disagree with you. I thought they
okay.
nailed it. I love the idea that
Mm,
Superman can't be everywhere at once. He took the bigger issue but he's not going to not think of you. And I think is setting up what they're ultimately going to do at some point here, which is a Justice League movie. So I think
Yeah.
it's setting up the idea that there are other people here who can help, and that Superman is low key going to kind of become just the leader of this gang and this league, or I mean, the Hall of
Whatever
Justice
it's going to
being
become.
built. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I mean,
really liked that scene.
I don't disagree with the inclusion of Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl being a part of like bigger things possibly, or just showing like, hey, like this is like an established world filled with superpowers. Like I get that stuff, but I felt like just as characters, or even side characters for that matter, like I didn't expect them to like be utilized all that much in the movie, or like be real mainstays in the movie. But they still, for the most part, felt underwhelming to me. Maybe Mr. Terrific, I give more leeway to, because he did
He's
have more
in a
screen
lot more
time.
of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, but even still, for it being Superman, for like the Superman movie that we've had in a while, whether you're starting a new universe or not, I just felt like those extra characters weren't really sticking the landing on feeling like a real part of things, or just making themselves feel more interesting, other than just being almost too much in the background. Weirdly,
Oh, I disagree with you so much. I thought it was just the
mm,
perfect amount that made me want more. And I think if you leave
mm.
saying I wanted more of those side characters, and they actually did a really good job of making you interested in the whole thing,
Yeah,
uh,
it just didn't do that for me, but I'm
I
glad it did for
actually
you.
think his script was so massive. I think it was very clear that he had a huge storyline for a bunch of people at the Daily Planet. All those other
Yeah,
reporters were meant to have a bigger story, and that's what got cut. And I'm okay
agreed.
with letting that be what got cut. They kept the Jimmy Olsen stuff in, needed that for the plot moving forward, but it was so
It
clear that
worked.
the
Yeah,
blonde girl was supposed to have more, and
Cat
there was
Grant.
another
Yeah.
guy that was supposed to have more. Like I,
Hmm.
I am I was okay. I loved adding all the other characters and their portrayals. I thought
Yeah, me
Nathan
too.
Fillion was really funny. The girl from The Last of Us, I think her name is Isabella. She is.
Oh,
I thought
Isabella
she
Merced.
was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought she was excellent. She's gonna. If she, I hope she continues as Hawk Girl, because she is really good, and she's very good in The Last of Us. So
Mhm.
I've become a big fan of hers. I thought the actor who plays Mr. Terrific was terrific.
Yeah. No, like he had the most
Jokes
screen time.
aside.
Like that's probably the one character that I'd like to see more of. I don't know in what capacity, but I hope to. But yeah, otherwise it just good acting, but otherwise I just felt underwhelmed by the superhero characters. But I agree with you about the Daily Plan stuff. Like it's clear those elements got cut out. I kind of wish it didn't, but I think for the most part, like I liked to see the Daily Planet feel like a character in and of itself. Like I thought the building looked great. I thought like the interactions with some of those characters, like we didn't see a whole lot of them, but enough to be like, yeah, that's good. That feels like people genuinely working in like the news industry. You know, like I was appreciative of what they were able to
I'm a
include
sucker
with
for a
that.
good newspaper movie, and I couldn't care
Yeah.
less about half the Daily Planet stuff. That was the right thing to cut. You're crazy.
No,
Cut it.
I agree.
Get it
I,
out of
I
there.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, for what they were able to include with that, I liked it. But that's also, again, my bias showing
And
because
I
just
liked what I
reading,
saw.
yeah, reading enough Superman stuff, like Daily Planet and those characters are important to
So let's get to Lex.
him as
You didn't
well.
like Lex Luthor. You said in our non-spoiler review, you said Lex Luthor, not my Lex Luthor. So what? Why was he not yours, Kyle? Did he go too woke? Hey, Superman went woke, apparently. Apparently, he never used to
Oh,
be an illegal alien on our
yeah.
planet.
God almighty.
Bunch
These
of
people.
idiots. But
These
why didn't you
people.
like Lex? Why is he not your Lex?
It was so close for me, but
Not close enough.
I think the character was just a bit too whiny. For myself with Lex,
Whiny.
I like, yeah, I'd say so. Like he's intimidating, like, and he's clearly a threat. And I liked how he felt so over. Or I liked how he felt when like he made Superman like beat down a few pegs. Like with the chances that Lex Luthor has, like in bringing him down to his level, if not lesser than, it's great stuff for sure. But I did feel like it was a bit too on the whiny side in some moments as well. Like for me, what I like about like some interpretations of Lex, I like it where he just feels so self-assured of himself, and not that like he can't be angry where he is like thwarted, but there needs to be like a bit more of a, not stoic, but just like of a authoritative presence that he has, I
You
suppose
like the
might be the
Lex
right way to
Luthor in
describe it.
Justice League Unlimited, the cool, calm, and
Yeah, no,
collected Lex. That's exactly what it is. It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
the
that's
Lex
actually
in
a
Justice League Unlimited.
that actually is a great way to describe it.
That's
Yes. So
exactly that character.
that is my bias coming into play. And like I said, I do still like many of the elements that Holt puts into this character. I just wish it just had that bit from what I like about Lex Luthor, but I think it still delivers.
Well, the Justice League Unlimited is the only real Superman content I've ever really ingrained within me. I'm not a big Superman guy growing up. I mean, I liked him, but I just got into anime too quick, and Goku's got pretty much the same story as Superman. So I guess I got my fill with that, and I never kind of went after it. But the Justice League Unlimited show and movie I watched, I'm actually going to rewatch the movie tomorrow. I decided leaving the theater, but
Which movie?
didn't the show start from a movie or end from a movie?
So it starts with the Secret Origins two-parter. They called it a movie, but it's just the first two episodes. Then in between Justice League, the end of the Justice League show is Starcross, which is like the 3-part finale, and then it goes into Justice League Unlimited. So like they're episodes, they combine to a movie. I was just curious on what you were referring
that says Justice League Unlimited. I'm gonna pop that bad boy in. It's a movie.
Well, it's a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a great show. But that was the only like Superman Lex content I know. So that's the only Lex I have. And I didn't feel myself that Nicholas Holt this Lex was whiny. I just kind of latched on real quick to that. All right, we've been in this world for a while. He says he's been studying Superman for years to get all his movements down.
It's good stuff.
He's cloned Superman. Real side note, did you like the cloning? No, talk about it now.
No, not
I
really.
liked it.
I mean,
I didn't expect it. I was like, that's cool.
It didn't surprise me. I wasn't sure. I wondered like who the masked guy was, but once it was revealed, I wasn't surprised, I suppose. And it makes sense for Lex, because Lex would do something like that on top of like studying his moves and stuff. But it does make me laugh that he still doesn't figure out who Clark Kent is. Not for like a bad thing, but it's just funny.
Glasses, pal.
Yeah.
it's canonic in the thing. There's been a whole big deal about it. They used it in the movie. They're hypno glasses.
I just assumed there was a joke.
No,
that they were making a joke about it.
I also saw an interview that James Gunn confirmed. Yeah, they're glasses that hypnotize people when they look into them. Jeez, Louise, this guy over here.
I'm losing it.
Hypnotizing him.
Real Clark Kent over here. What a dorcas.
I did see an interview with James Gunn the other day that said that, and I was like, that's not a spoiler to me. I don't care.
I don't need an explanation for stuff like that, but whatever. All right. I just will ignore it.
But yeah, so I didn't think Lex the clone thing worked. When Lex was like yelling and frustrated and whining a little bit, to me I had just already bought into this idea that Lex has been waiting for this moment, that everything over the 3, however many years that the title crawl said at the beginning has led to this, and he's like, I have to get rid of Superman. Superman's the thing that's in my way of becoming the most powerful person on this planet. Like, it is Superman in my way. And I like that it like blew up in frustration in front of him. And then that's why I think that scene ended up working, where he's like, no, Lex, I'm human, because Lex is only viewing him as an alien. And maybe if we're moving into a Superman 2 and Lex continues, maybe we will get a more cool, calm, and collective Lex, because now he doesn't view Superman as an alien. He views him as a human, and maybe it changes the way he perceives everything moving forward. But I don't know when we're going to see him next. We cannot end this video without a what's coming next conspiracy around here, pal. But let's continue with the movie.
I wouldn't.
Say what you want. What do you want to do? Where do you?
I wanted to talk about Jor-El and Lara. I wanted to talk about Superman's parents. How did you feel about that angle?
I got it spoiled that Bradley Cooper was there from the get-go.
Oh, shoot, really?
Yeah, I expected it, and I'm actually kind of glad because I think I would have not liked it if I saw it without knowing it was
Yeah.
coming. But I knew it was
Yeah.
coming, so I'd already made peace with it.
Okay.
I love the I found out after later today when I was just kind of back on social media scrolling on videos and stuff
Mhm.
that was based off a comic run where they didn't send him to Earth with the idea that he would be the savior, but a conqueror.
Mhm.
I liked it. I loved the angle, loved the smear
Mhm.
campaign tactic, and I love that it ends with him learning that it doesn't matter where he comes from. You make your family. It doesn't matter who your actual parents are. It's the parents he ended up having in that amazing conversation with Pa Kent. You kidding me? When he's like, you just give
Yeah.
him the tools,
It's
Clark. We just give you the tools to do
yeah.
it, to help you when you fall. I was like, oh my God, Pa Kent, come on. And the scene where he's like real nervous in there, he's in the bed when Clark's unconscious and his dad's like, are you going to be okay to Lois? And
Yeah.
Ma just
Yeah,
looks at him
man.
and she's like, he's never like this except with Clark. I was like, oh, that's my Pa Kent right there. He's just talking about going
Facts.
to the restaurant, watching the cows and crypto plan. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
dude, it's
man.
such good stuff between them.
But
I
anyway,
get what
back
you
to the parents. You didn't like it.
no, but again, it's a personal thing. I like them being more of good people than not good people. Whether they're in, even though like they are, it is a thing that's been done in comics. I just prefer them to be good people as well. But I will agree with you. It helps with the themes. It's like an extra nugget to help with like the point of the movie. So I can't really blame it because it does stick the landing on those elements. But
You know,
that and the Bradley Cooper reveal, I'm not gonna like it now with the Bradley Cooper thing. But as the movie ages and life goes on,
you
it
care
won't be
less.
that much of a
Yeah,
thought.
he's not in
Yeah,
it much. But
no.
um, you know, as a clearly not as massive Superman fan and someone who actually hasn't even seen all the other movies and stuff, like all the old Christopher Reeves, like I've still haven't seen a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, one of the things that I don't like about Man of Steel, and one of the things that annoys me, is all this talk with old Jarrell on the cam, and even watching the
Yeah.
original Superman, it was Marlon Brando popping up, and it's like, all right, I was like, I kind of liked that James Gunn was like, we're gonna make him kind of crappy, and we're never gonna talk about him again. And I liked that. I hope we don't
That's
much.
yeah.
I don't like that Superman goes to his fortress of solitude to be alone. It's like, no, you got your robots. You're there. I don't want him there talking to ghost, artificial intelligence of his dad. I don't love those scenes where it feels like we're doing Force Ghosts from Star Wars. I like when he sits down with Pa Kent and
Mm-hmm.
has a real conversation, and Mom Martha Kent.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
Let's not
agree.
forget Martha would be her name. Martha Kent.
Martha, why do you keep repeating that? Is that important for something?
Why did you say that name? I'm now debating watching Batman versus Superman again too, to see how far in I can get before
Good
I get
luck.
bored
Yeah.
out of my mind.
Yeah. Man
But
of Steel
anyway,
was a bit tough.
a little, and I like it more than you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, talk some more about Superman here. What else did you think?
The score slaps. I know
Oh,
it's
I
like
was listening
an
in the
electric
shower this
guitar of
morning.
yeah,
I'm not
buddy.
kidding. I was.
Yeah, I mean, I know like it's not a new original score necessarily. It's clearly from the original movie
Yeah,
with like an electric guitar. But come on, like it's a good
good.
score. Like it's fine. I rock with it. It made me happy.
I agree. I hope James Gunn knows that one of the things fans loved of the original DCEU was that they always had really good scores. And Marvel has ended
Mm,
up having some good score moments, and their main Avengers theme has become, I think, a fairly iconic
iconic.
theme.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I like you can argue that people for 10 years from now will still hear that Wonder Woman score and that Superman score and be like, oh, bring that
Yeah.
back. And it's still, none of them are better than that original Justice League Unlimited score. So good, man. Only good part of the Justice League movie is when they brought that bad boy in. But so the after credit scenes, you saw both of them. You sat and waited the whole way.
Yeah.
First of all, when the city split in the movie, I was like, what if they're like, the slums are on that half, we're going to rename it Gotham in the next movie. I was like, what if that ends up happening? I had that thought during the action moment, and then Mr. Terrific was like, now let me put that bad boy back together.
I was surprised that they wound up putting that back together. Like, I get it's very over the top sci-fi campiness type thing, so like it makes sense that James Gunn would be like, nah, we'll just make up an excuse and just slap them back together. It's fine. But I thought for sure it was going to be left split, and that would be like a part of the sequel or something. So
well, later I heard too that there is a sign you can see on one of the shots of like a highway that says like Gotham next right or something.
Oh,
so
I
Gotham is already. I missed it too. I saw a video of people talking about it.
I'll mention this: there weren't. I was expecting more Easter eggs, and I'm glad that there wasn't.
Same. I'm glad that neither of the scenes set anything up. I like that. I think he played a joke on everybody.
At that point, like, yeah, they're cute and they're fine. If they weren't in the movie, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have cared if there weren't any after credit scenes. I'm just talking about the movie as a whole. Like, I was surprised that there wasn't really obvious Easter eggs or anything that I really noticed. I guess Hall of Justice maybe, but like outside of that, it's like really nothing else.
I like
at least what I don't know if I missed something, but
I like that James Gunn approached this with the idea in mind of like when the DCEU started, it was like, okay, Marvel went and we're going to do 4 movies and then we're going to bring them all together for the Avengers, blah, blah, blah. And then DC, it was like, well, what if we got to do it first. We're going to bring them all together and then they'll do their individual movies. And James Gunn was like, what if I make a Superman movie and some other heroes are just there?
Sure.
And it's like, what? We can do that? They don't have to fight. They don't have to really be involved, but they kind of are. And a side plot that I think worked very well. But like, I mean, if he puts out an extended cut of this just on the DVD, I would be very interested to see it. I don't need the gun cut here.
Yeah. Hold on, before we start something.
I would be interested to see what he cut of the Daily Planet stuff and all those things, because I bet it was a difficult thing to do to get rid of those.
He clearly liked his cast a lot. Like I feel like he thought he nailed this casting, which he did. He did nail the casting, but you can just feel it in the movie that he was like, everyone's doing really good work here.
Yeah. So, can we go over time a little bit here, or do you got to rush out of here?
No, I'm good right now, man.
10
let's keep
p.m.
firing.
where I am, and I'm ready to. I can go another hour, pal.
Yeah, let's see where we go with this,
Saturday,
man.
On the film day. Let's do some. Okay, we were waiting for the second post credit scene. We were talking while the credits are rolling, and it was like, all right. I was trying to think, what is next? I know Supergirl's next. I was trying to think, okay, I know that they're doing some Creature Commandos. I know there's a Lantern show. I was trying to think, what is next? And I remember I've seen it because I've seen so many interviews of James Gunn lately, and I know he talked about that you are going to see Superman again before, like, he is going to come back. It wasn't like, yes, there's a Superman 2, but he is coming, like he said some stuff. That could just be he's in the very beginning of Superman, of Supergirl or whatever. Maybe that whole scene is the beginning of Supergirl and then we follow her as she leaves. Who knows? But like, there's a Teen Titan movie greenlit apparently in production, but like, Kyle, what is next? What do you know as a man with his ear on the ground? And give me some theories. Where do you think we're going here, pal?
I only recall what's been announced like 2 years ago. Like they want to do that, they are making the Supergirl movie now. They want to do the Lanterns movie, which sounds like that's in production now.
I thought Green Lantern was a show. Yeah.
It is a show. Sorry, I just misspoke. I know they want to do a Batman movie called The Brave and the Bold, which includes, I thought it was Damian Wayne as Robin.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they wanted to do Brave and the Bold.
And then they said like a Paradise Island show. And then since then, it's been very odd. Like, they greenlit a Clayface movie. They say there may or may not be a Teen Titans movie. There was a rumor, like, Bane and Deathstroke were going to have a movie together. It's stuff like this where I'm like, I'm not saying like you need to announce like your slate right away. I'm honestly fine with like enjoying the movie now and just waiting till later if there's a Superman 2. But he's greenlighting odd projects that I don't feel like is the right time for them yet, especially if you're doing like a full reboot of like a cinematic universe. So I hope like down the road we hear of a Superman 2, maybe some answers for what's going on with the Batman 2 as well as the possible Batman movie for this universe. And honestly, I wouldn't mind hearing about Wonder Woman. I would much rather have a new Wonder Woman movie than a Paradise Island movie personally.
What is Paradise Island?
Themyscira.
Oh, is
It's the
that what
island
the
where Wonder
rumor
Woman
is?
lives on.
That's the rumor
Yeah.
that that's the next movie.
There
That's
is
the
a show
movie?
coming.
Oh, a show.
There's a
I
show
missed
coming
this
that
one.
is about Themyscira.
Gotcha.
But I haven't heard anything about it since that announcement. I have no idea. And again, like, I don't know if half of these projects are still in development or not, or if they've been canned. Like, the Sergeant Rock movie, like, that, like, got scrapped real quick, apparently, after almost getting a cast for it.
And
It's just, it's odd. It's odd what they're doing.
It feels like too, in the stuff I've seen James Gunn talk about, because I've seen a lot of clips of him lately. I feel like the things I've seen him really talk heavily about is just Supergirl. Like he's like, yeah, Supergirl's coming out. Like I've seen, like it's blah blah blah. And then he's talked Peacemaker season 2, and he's talked this Green Lantern show, and he's talking more about the shows than he necessarily is future movies. And maybe he just has learned from years over at Marvel of watching Kevin Feige announce 15 movies, and then something happens with your Kang, or something happens with this director, but watch what happens just with Blade even. And like, maybe he's like, let's not do that. And maybe he's planning to do every movie himself. And he's like, I can only do one at a time.
I hope.
Well, he's not
I don't
doing
think
Supergirl.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think he's going to do every movie, but I hope that he sticks to his word in that he wants these movies to have their own tone, have their own aesthetic, have their own vibe, and let the filmmakers that he hires like really give life into each movie. It's okay if they're connected, but I'm okay if they visually look different. I'm okay if they are in a different tone of voice. I really hope that's the one thing that he stays true on. Like, if the slate changes, the slate changes. And I hope he has learned his lesson about, like, announcing stuff. But he seemingly has a passion for wanting the filmmaker to make the movie they want to make. Which is why, I guess, Clayface is getting greenlit somehow instead of a Wonder Woman movie.
Didn't our king bring the Clayface to him, though? Now that I'm really thinking about it, wasn't it our absolute stud of a man? Why can't
I've heard Mike Flanagan wrote a script for it.
Yeah,
but he's not directing it. It's a different director. I don't know who the director is, but it's not.
But even still, a Mike Flanagan script? Are you kidding me? What that man writes is horror gold.
I hope whatever filmmaker they hired, I don't know, I don't remember who the guy is, honestly, but I hope he delivers on making the script seem good.
He made Doctor Sleep, and it is actually a very underrated sequel to The Shining. Are you kidding me? Like that movie hits. But he also made The Haunting of Hill House, and The Haunting at Hill House is fantastic. And the other one was really good too, but Hill House especially was really good.
But I'm a simple man. I just tell me that Superman 2 is coming out. Tell me Wonder Woman's coming out. Tell me Batman's coming out. Like, I'm fine with still starting at, like, the basic superheroes that we already know and going off of there. Like, I think that's the best way to start it compared to, like, throwing around Clayface or Sergeant Rock.
Batman 2, it's like... I wonder just specifically with Clayface if it was more of like Jon Favreau showing up at Disney and was just like, I kind of have this idea of The Mandalorian, and it was like, oh, I really like this script. Let's do it. Like, I feel like that's where Clayface really came out of. I don't think it was like James being like, we got to do Clayface. I feel like Mike just came in with an idea and was like, I wrote this script kind of for fun. You want to check it out or whatever? But anyway,
I just hope they make it clear somehow. Like, let us know if it's connected to something or not. You can make like a label before the movie, or you can have James Gunn like make it express clearly in an interview or something. Like, this movie is not connected to anything. It's just a really good story that we decided to greenlight.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like it's going to confuse audiences if something is not made clear.
Can you explain to me, as someone who didn't watch much of it, what is so different about Batman the Brave and the Bold than other Batmans?
Yeah, Brave and the Bold is kind of like a lighter approach to Batman. It kind of goes into
Ew.
almost Adam West, over the top, campy comic book, golden age stories. So it's a sillier show, but they do a good job at like pairing him up with like B, C, almost deer tier characters. So every episode he like teams up with the Challengers of the Unknown, or he teams up with like Detective Chimp, and they have like a silly adventure against like the Clock King. It's actually pretty good. It was a show that I remember.
I remember watching a little bit of it, but I don't
Yeah.
remember enough to like know what the
Mhm,
difference between that Batman and another Batman is. And boy,
mhm.
you sold me. I'm selling fast. I'm not buying that. Give me Matt
I'll
Reeves Batman all day. I don't want that at all.
I'll say
That
this
sounds terrible.
I'll say this, just because this upcoming Batman movie is called The Brave and the Bold, I don't think it's going to go into that territory. Now, will I mind it being a bit more comic booky in the realm of Superman? I could be down for it, but I don't think it's going to go into like the Golden Age camp type of approach that I just described with that cartoon. It was the cartoon that I described for the Brave and the Bold name. In the comics, it's like when the Flash and Green Lantern team up, or maybe it's Green Arrow and Green Lantern team up. It's something related to Green Lantern, but it got mushed in with like the Superman, or the Batman cartoon, and now with this Batman movie apparently. So just to make it clear of like the differences with that name when it comes to like DC.
You lost me. I have no clue what you're talking about. All of a sudden, you were like, and then the Flash and Green Lantern. I was like, the Flash and Green Lantern had their own comic line called The Brave and the Bold?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. And then Batman was just like, I'm going to borrow that name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm caught up.
Yeah, there you go. Wasn't that hard?
Yeah, no, if the options in front of me are new Batman silly James Gunn style, or we bring Robert Pattinson in, I'm bringing Robert Pattinson in all day of the week over that. I do not.
I get it.
Look, Superman can go dark. I'm down. Superman can be light. I'm down. Batman being light? No. Batman's brooding. Okay. Batman is Batman. We're not changing Batman. Spider-Man can change a little bit. Everybody else can change. But if Batman starts doing yucks, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I'm gonna guess that James Gunn isn't directing the Batman movie. I could be wrong. Or sorry, the Brave and the Bold movie. I could be wrong. That's just my theory right now. I feel like they won't go into like that goofy of territory with Batman still. But I'm just saying I wouldn't mind if we up the game with like the villains or the tone. Like it's not so dark and serious, or it's not all of these grounded villains. It could be like we could do Mr. Freeze again as an interpretation, or like I don't know, maybe some mystical villain as like an example. Like I'd be okay with like seeing how far we could take it with making Batman not so dark and brooding in like the style of the Batman or even the Dark Knight. I would just have to see who like the filmmaker is that's attached to it, I suppose. But that's also the question of like, will it even matter? Is the Batman and Robert Pattinson going to be included in this universe anyway? Like I don't know if we're going to have an answer soon, even after this movie comes out, but there must be an answer to that at some point. Like, we can't keep going on with this forever. Of this will they, won't they?
This says Insider, The Brave and the Bold, Everything We Know from January 14th on Collider. And it says that Andy Muschietti is directing Batman, The Brave and the Bold.
Oh, I feel like that's going to change. I have a feeling that's going to change.
Well, I do remember everybody talking real heavy about him being at the premiere, and I was like I was just assumed he was a good friend. And I mean, he directed The Flash, but he also is in the Warner Brothers circle. He did It 1 and 2, and those are both really good. The Flash, I don't feel like was his fault.
No, that
Like he
movie
showed up, got a paycheck, and did whatever he was told.
was in development
Yeah,
hell
it
for a long
was.
time. But
Um,
even still, I still am unsure if I would want him to be helming it
oh, sorry.
at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be okay with Andy Muschietti doing it. He was on a radio show and was asked about it, and he said it would take a while. That the Robert Pattinson Batman still happening has pushed the Brave and the Bold, is what this article says from that interview.
Yeah.
Um,
I just feel like at some point you can't wait around forever. For
well,
Muschietti or for Matt Reeves, for that
you know,
matter. Like
you and I were theorizing the other day. Well, we weren't necessarily theorizing, but we were putting our
yeah,
money down of what do we think's going to happen. And I've been leaning towards, I feel like my money is going to go on. I think they're going to merge and bring Robert Pattinson in. You were saying that they're not. And
yeah.
what if James went to him and said, you can't do 3, but I'll let you do one more. You can do one more, Batman's over. And maybe he's just like, all right, now I need to rework my script. And he wants to get more ideas in, and that's why this script has taken so long. Or maybe he said, pull an Avengers, make one massive movie at once and cut it in half. And then I will give you 2 Batman movies real quick, and we'll let you finish your story. But now I'm starting to think, I don't know about the splitting. Now I'm starting to think, I wonder if James Gunn went to him and said, I love what you did with the Batman. I want to give you and Robert Pat one more real opportunity. I'm not going to let you make a trilogy, but you can make your Batman movie. Go for it.
So are you
What do you
asking
think?
what I think
Yeah,
about
what do you
that?
think? What do you think of that idea, pal?
I think that's the most logical outcome.
Never thought about it till now.
Um, it would bum me out just
Yeah,
because I
give me
really
8 of
like what
those.
direction they're going with.
Me too.
Sorry, say that.
I said, Kyle, I want 8 of them. Man, the Batman is so freaking good. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It would bum me out, but at the same time, I feel like I would rather have that direction over merging it with this Superman. I don't know. It just is hard for me. As much as I like the idea of these movies feeling so different and having a different tone of voice, like so drastically, like James Gunn versus Matt Reeves, and then seeing like those worlds collide somehow, I just don't know if it would work. I don't know if it would be like the right tones and the right depictions of those characters coming together. It'd be interesting. I just don't know if it would be the right pairing. I just feel
I
like this
get
is
what
going
you're
to be
saying.
I feel like this is the outcome that's going to make the most sense. It's just you got one more in you, but then we have to move on, unfortunately,
Yeah. No,
because it's
I'm with you.
Batman. Like you want Batman to be a part of a DC universe,
And
with or without Matt Reeves.
maybe he said, Matt, you have a home here. We love the movies you make. Like he's made nothing but bangers there, and it was like we're gonna let you just finish it off in one more. I mean, the first Batman's almost 3 hours, so like he could definitely squeeze it, do another close to 3 hour kind of send off with them. I would be bummed because I also know how much Robert Pattinson loves playing Batman, but
I'd be bummed because it's a good movie and I want another one. I want more.
I do too. Hey, the script is done. James Gunn was out there proudly saying,
Really?
You haven't heard about that?
No, I missed that.
Finished it.
Yeah, swear to God.
It was reported that the script was finished like last Saturday or Sunday, and then the report came out that he finished. I think he put it on his Instagram, Matt Reeves or something. And then James Gunn, this is where I found out about it. James Gunn was asked, we just saw that Matt Reeves finished the script for the Batman 2. Have you read it yet? And James Gunn in that interview said, no, I haven't. I'm hoping to read it on the plane. And a couple days later, after the world premiere, I saw another interview of James Gunn saying, like, yeah, I read it. It's great. It's awesome. Like, we can't wait. And I think they're about to start production. But the script is done, Kyle. Script's in.
I mean, the fact that Matt Reeves actually said something out loud speaks volumes. Like, he actually finished the thing. I just hope James Gunn is telling the truth and that the script's good. I mean, you're at the world premiere and you're asking that question. You never know. Like, you never know if he's fibbing a bit or not, but in Matt Reeves we trust, right? Probably pretty good.
Oh, I would be shocked if the script was bad. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it was on. I pulled up a Deadline article on the red carpet on Monday's Superman world premiere. Writer and director
The
James
woke
Gunn
premiere.
kept it
Sorry.
brief, but confirmed to reporters that he has read Reeves' long anticipated script for the Batman 2 and said it's great.
Okay.
Oh, this says he shared a photo of the completed script's cover page last month.
I gotta look this up.
But yeah, it's what is this?
Okay,
After
well,
Gunn previously defended the delays of the Batman 2, which is set to premiere on October 1st, 2027, following a year-long postponement. Reeves said in January that the sequel will film this year. We're doing something where the story continues from, but I hope that people will be surprised by, said Matt Reeves to Deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we like that. We like surprises. Could that surprise be that Superman flies down? But how great was that shot when Superman saves that woman when the building's falling? She drives out of there. She stops her car when she's safe, turns around and looks, and he just flies out of the smoke and I was like, oh my God, this is from the animated. This is what you want. This is it. I was like, this is the best looking shot I've ever seen. That's incredible. Save me, Superman. I'll be your Lois. Like, I was like, come on. I'm going to try to hunt him down here. He still lives in Philly, I believe. I'm going to go hunt you down, David Cornsweat, just so we can talk about Star Wars, to be honest. He's a big Star Wars nerd. I'm a big fan of him.
I did see a quote where someone asked him, would you rather play Superman again or a Jedi? And he said, I want to play a Jedi.
Without missing a beat. He said it without missing a beat. Sorry, go ahead.
I just think that when you do publicity like this, maybe publicity rule number one is you always answer by saying you want to keep playing the character you're playing.
That's really funny, because he was also asked in another interview. They were like, we know you're from Philly. You're a big Eagles fan? He's like, yeah. And he was like, would you rather them win a Super Bowl, another one, or would you rather continue playing Superman? And he said, I'd rather them win another Super Bowl.
That's the Philly sports fan. That's a Philly fan. That's a Philly fan. It. Would you love to keep your first newborn, or would you want the Eagles to win a Super Bowl? They're going to choose the Super Bowl.
Now, Kyle, you're coming to visit me. Now imagine he just gets back in a few weeks from now and just happens to be throwing the first pitch at the Phillies game we're going to try to go to.
It could happen.
It probably won't.
I don't think that
it could.
It could.
I won't be shocked if he shows up to an Eagles game and they make a big deal about it at the beginning of football season when things have really calmed down.
Oh, I'm sure he'll get invited to a game and they'll show a camera on him.
Yeah. They'll be like, in today's
the Taylor Swift
Superman.
effect.
Yeah, but
I'm sick of this guy on my screen.
He's a diehard. You don't go date a chief and change his mind. He's a diehard. Okay. David, if you're watching, which I know you're a big fan, hey, just send me a DM. We'll meet up. We'll go get some cheesesteaks and we can talk all about Star Wars all day. I saw so many interviews of him talking about Star Wars, and I saw one where Rachel Brosnahan was like, oh, he'll talk about it all day. Like she said that in one of the interviews, that he'll just keep yapping about Star Wars. I freaking love it. That is my Superman, Kyle. Are you kidding me?
Hey, it works. You have to have Superman, like some nerdy stuff. Henry Cavill did the same thing. Bless his heart.
It's true. Henry Cavill's also a great nerd. Love it. Get both of them in a super Star Wars movie. Let's do that.
Sure, why not?
Just two buddy Jedi out doing missions. Are you kidding me? People would line up for miles.
Let's all come together. Let's mend fences, everyone. It doesn't matter who's on whose side. What matters is that Star Wars brings everyone together.
Amen, Kyle. It always comes back, baby. You got anything else you want to talk about Superman, or should we wrap it up?
Nah, we can wrap it up. But this was a fun time, and the movie's a fun time as well. I'm a very happy guy.
Missed nerding out with you on long form eps. Guys, what did you think of Superman? Comment below, let us know. I'm going to like, subscribe, share. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.